Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Oneness Junkie podcast, hosted by me, Lydia Smith, a self-proclaimed Oneness Junkie. Oneness Junkie is a place to be inspired, encouraged, and supported. Learn from the individuals who are working to make the world a better place. Let's meet today's guest. Hello, everyone. It's Lydia with the Oneness Junkie podcast. And today I'm excited to introduce you to our next guest. I'm here with Steph St. Amand. Hi, Steph.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And y'all, to full transparency, we have been chatting offline, not recording. She's been cracking me up and I have this huge smile because we've been laughing. And I was thinking, I don't know if I could get a straight face to start the recording. So y'all are going to have to deal with my happy, joyful smile talking with Steph. So here we go, guys. We're going to take you on a ride and it's going to be a lot of fun. So as you know, in my podcast, I always like to determine whether or share with y'all whether I know my guest or not. And in this case, I don't know Steph. I've actually just talking to her for the first time today, and y'all are going to get to know her along with me. So Steph, will you take a moment and introduce yourself and go a little bit further back so we can kind of understand, like, how did you become Steph and where are you from and what are you doing up till today?
Oh my goodness, I love that. How did you become Steph? Is that not the journey? Is that not the journey?
Can of worms.
Right there. Oh my goodness. How did I become Steph? Well, you said take it back, and I want to take it right back to the beginning.
Yay!
Because when I was 10 years old, I was so blessed, so privileged. I had no idea how blessed and privileged I was. My parents bought a house in the late 70s, right on lakefront property in a small northern Ontario town. I'm up in Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba right now. But I grew up in this super small town called Sioux Lookout, Ontario. And when I was 10 years old, there was this beautiful lakefront property. And there was this flat rock out from the lake. It was like this little quarry of rocks. And I would sit there. It was this huge rock that was like perfectly flat. It was like God put it there so that I could sit there. And so one day I'm just being my 10-year-old little self. And I go and I sit on this rock, and I'm in the pose I'm in right now, legs crossed. And I would call that now today meditating. But when you're 10 years old, you're not meditating. You're just sitting quietly, probably for the first time all day. And so I'm sitting there, and I just discovered everything. The sunlight was hitting the water in such a way, and I could see like the crystals coming off the water, and all the trees on the other side of the lake became light, shards of light and crystal. And everything around me, I just felt like I completely understood the universe in that moment.
Wow.
I was one with all of it. And that there was this power that was just engaged, that was pure radiant light everywhere, always. And I felt this oneness, this wholeness, that I was part of the water. I was part of the trees. I was part of the sunlight beams. I was it. And then I heard this booming voice coming over me that said, "You will teach this." And I'm 10 years old. So I was like, that was fun. And I ran back up the hill and discovered freedom in free will and free choice and all of those things. So even though the divine had a plan for me at the age of 10, I decided to take a very windy road to get to that place where I was going to be teaching this, which is oneness, which is wholeness, which is that life is unfolding perfectly. We need do nothing to engage in that. And so for the next 20 years, I suffered from chronic anxiety disorder. I had 20 some years of severe depression. I would live in dark spaces. I would hunker down in caves. I've been homeless and hungry. These were 20 years of my life that were just getting all the fertilizer I possibly could inside this beautiful system of the divine so that I could teach it, so that I could come out from that dark night of the soul and be prepared for the world around me. And so in that pathway, oh my goodness, I discovered, I had the blessing, again, blessing. My parents were lovely human beings. They are still lovely human beings. And my mom at a very young age told me, she said, I don't care what you believe in, just find what you believe in and do that, you know? And so living in that place, I discovered spirituality all over the place. I've been a pagan, I've been Christian, I've been Buddhist. I've been all of those things all at once because for me, taking the good stuff from all of those faith traditions led me to the science of mind, religious science or new thought teaching, which is already all of those good things, and using the power of our mind, the power of our intuitive knower, that voice that's already here for us to lead us, to guide us, to move us, to mold us. And so I discovered New Thought in 2008, a month after I started dating who's my wife now. And we discovered that we started a relationship, and within 1 month, we knew we wanted to make sure we were figuring stuff out, and we both came with a lot of baggage. So we both realized that we wanted to put God in our relationship. We wanted to put God first in our relationship. And so we started seeking out a place to find our community, find our people. And we found the Center for Conscious Living in Winnipeg a month after we started dating. And
Wow.
a week after we started at that community, we were in classes. We were studying truth principles. We were healing ourselves. We were healing our ability to be in relationship with one another. And we took every course we needed to become licensed practitioners and eventually ministers. We did all of it together, unpacking all of that baggage, all of that stuff, going, oh, that wasn't that great fertilizer? Oh my goodness, such great, wonderful fertilizer. And so these beautiful tips that I've picked up along this path is oneness, is wholeness, is the art of radical forgiveness, radical gratitude, radical love. These are, Jesus was a radical.
Yes.
And so the great philosophies that have been folded into our experience were by spirits in rebellion. It's rebels who get things done. It's we aren't for sitting in our one spot our whole life and not discovering anything about ourselves. That's the beauty of oneness. That's the beauty of science of mind, is that we are learning how to be ourselves. We are learning how to love ourselves. We are learning how to love that divine presence within us, because there is only one. And so getting to this place where I can love myself means that I can love anybody, because I've walked through my fire. I have seen the stuff I've stepped in. And if I can love myself, I know it's easy to love everyone else,
It's so true. We, on the podcast, a lot of times I focus on just personal and self-development and have people come on to talk about how to look inward and work on yourself. Because I just basically say, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. And that's
right.
what you're saying, basically.
Yes.
That's awesome. Did you have anything else about that? Because I have a question.
Oh, well, we can just go with the flow here.
Okay, I just want to make sure you were finished with your intro before I moved forward. So, so now, where are you now? Are you you said you were in Winnipeg?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The co-founding spiritual director of One Love Awakening Society. And so we are a nonprofit charitable organization up here in Canada. And we are waking love up. That's what we do. The birth of One Love Awakening it's spirit led and spirit fed. My whole life, like since I realized the waking up journey, that's what my life has been about. That I could be more awake today than I was yesterday, and that's why it's One Love Awakening and not One Love Awakened, because it's always the path. There's always something more. There's always something before us. And so I tend to steer away from anyone who says, oh yeah, I'm totally awake. I've had an awakening and I'm awake. And I think you just wait till you fall down. You're going to beat yourself up and therefore you're still sleeping. There's, we do that kind of thing. So One Love Awakening, it's spirit led, it's spirit fed. We have guiding principles that direct everything that we do. And it's really, I do a show myself. It's called Wake Up, Say Thank You. And it's almost 6 years old now. And so it started before One Love Awakening started, because the birthing story of One Love Awakening is also a journey in of itself.
Yeah. Do you want to share that journey to people? Because really as I was saying before, I really want the audience to recognize that everything that gets created and manifested is a lot of times it is a journey, and it's where you have the grit to stick with it and to continue to pursue your passion that things start to happen for you. Right. So let's talk about tell us that story. We want to hear a tale of two cities.
Well, gather around, everybody.
I know you're a good storyteller if you're a missionary.
Yes, I love a good story. So this was years ago, a long time ago, in a land far, far away. When Tammy and I, Reverend Tammy, my spouse, and I, we finished ministerial studies in June, and in July we founded the Center for Spiritual Living West Kootenai. So we've always been the pioneering like souls. We like making things go. We like making things go. And so right off the hop, we started this community. It was in the West Kootenays of British Columbia, which is Nelson and Castlegarths, all these teeny tiny little towns. Oh, teeny tiny little towns. I love that. In a similar, like half hour away. So we started this community. We wanted to go and change lives, transform lives. And what happened with being in the West Kootenays is I discovered that you don't change the Kootenays change you. And so we were there for about 6 years, plugging away, not really getting anywhere. We had lovely people. We had an amazing energy, but it was small. And there is, when we're in a small town, you can only grow to the size of your fish tank. And I kind of have that radiant light within me that doesn't like small. And so my fish tank was feeling really constricted. I was feeling really bogged down. The airport there, it's in the mountains. It's mountain community. So the airport there was called Cancelgar. That's how often flights were canceled. And so I just felt really boxed in, and I needed something bigger. I needed something more. And I started doing Wake Up, Say Thank You while I was in that community and still working on myself. I was living in a place of fear of shining my light, fear of being known, fear of letting people in, those kinds of things. So of course my community isn't growing. I'm a closed box. So I woke up one morning and discovered that I needed to break up with fear. Fear and I were in a very long-standing relationship, 25 years of chronic anxiety disorder. You have an intimate relationship with fear. And so I woke up this morning, it was August, and I said, fear, this relationship is no longer working for me, and I need to break up with you. So I'm going to kick you to the curb. I need to let you go because I know that there's something bigger in me that needs to happen here, and I can't do it if I'm in a relationship with you. And so my biggest fear was going on live on Facebook. That was my biggest fear at the time. And so I went on.
My, how far you've come, my dear.
So I went on. Yes, I went on live for my first time after that experience, and I have been on 5 days a week since then.
Wow.
And so my first wake up say thank you was 43 seconds. And now you can barely shut me off after 22 minutes, just going. But through that process of breaking up with fear and recognizing there was something bigger for me in the world, we decided to start candidating for communities. Somebody, there's a community in the world that needs a minister or two. And so we were co-ministering, and we successfully candidated for a community in California in the late 2019. And so we were so excited to go down to California, being a California girl, getting some sun and living in 24 degrees as much as possible. Cause I'm up in Winnipeg or I was in BC at the time. And so we go, and with a leap of faith, we saw there was reasons we shouldn't be going. There was stuff happening in our lives that we were like, oh, that's a nice red flag. Let me skip over that and do this thing anyway. And so we sold our house. We sold everything we possibly could. We put things in a storage unit for when we were going to move down, and we were going to go down to California before our work visa came in.
Approved, yeah.
Before our work visa was approved. And so in January of 2020, we were down in California getting our feet wet in the community. And all this stuff was going on. There was stuff going on, and I'm like, what is this struggle? Why am I in this struggle right now energetically? Why am I saying yes when my body is clearly saying no to things? And I'm standing in March of 2020. You know what happened in March of 2020?
Yeah, we all know where we were the day we heard.
Yes, no work visa. I'm in a foreign country, and I'm standing in the backyard of where we were staying. And I said, Divine Mind, there's so many voices happening right now. I can't hear your voice. I need to just hear your voice, because I know your voice is the one that has the answer. And so I know that, in my faith, you tell me what to do, I'm going to do that. And I just need all the voices around me to shut off. Those words, I need the voices around me to shut off. And then 3 days later, California closed down. Immigration closed their doors. So I'm in a foreign country without health insurance and no work visa. And our prime minister says, Canadians, come home. And so I was going to stick it out. I'm like, I'm stronger than this. I'm stronger than this. And then there's all these little messages that just told me, no, you need to pack it up. You need to pack it up and go and get back to Canada. So that's what I did. I loaded up my vehicle. I loaded up my animals that had already crossed all these states to get to where we were going. We're heading back home. And I realized, and I got back to Canada on April Fool's Day. So I was like, April Fools, oh no, is this the biggest prank that the universe could ever have for me? And so I'm in lockdown by myself, because my lovely wife was in Winnipeg with her kids, and I was in Oliver at an Airbnb on lockdown by myself. I had not been in that quiet for years, in that level of quiet. And I just knew there was something good had to happen. All of this fertilizer that has just happened for the last year of my life has to be growing something magnificent. And so Tammy arrived, and we got down to the spiritual aspect of what it is. What is birthing in this? Because we've just experienced labor pains like nobody's business for the past few months. And what wants to be birthed from this experience? And so we did visioning. We talked to the divine. We meditated. We prayed. We discovered about ourselves. What is leading us? What are our guiding principles? We're listening to everybody else, but what is ours to do?
Right.
And One Love Awakening, that's what came. It's just, I just want to wake one love up. I want to wake love up. I want love to be the thing we go to when we make decisions. I want to be loving presence in the world. That is what is mine to do, to be loving presence in the world. And how can I do that if I'm listening to voices outside of me and not just a direct line with the divine? And so all of our guiding principles, everything came from that, from Wake Up, Say Thank You. We already had this beautiful online community coming together. And so we invited those people into a discovery event with us. And so people who had been listening to Wake Up, Say Thank You for several years, just, we'll be on your
natural evolution.
We'll be, we want to be practitioners with you. And also all of these people saying yes, their sacred yes, the same way we were saying yes. We want love in this life. We want to be able to love one another. You know, as society, we're kind of, bruised when it comes to being able to express demonstrative love to one another. It's seen as something,
it makes people uncomfortable.
It makes people uncomfortable. And love is the most comfortable thing the divine has for us. It's this beautiful, warm embrace. It's unconditionally giving of itself. There's nothing more loving a higher power could do for us than let us fall down and get up. And so that unconditional loving embrace of being who we are, being authentic, being real, being vulnerable, being brave, these are beautiful things, and they're all love first.
Right. And feeling safe, right? For people who are in, trying times. You said that you used to have a lot of anxiety, and just feeling safe, knowing that the universe has your back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what One Love Awakening is. It's a safe environment to really dig into the philosophy of love, the philosophy of getting things straight, the philosophy of figuring things out for yourself, and living our best life through these beautiful guiding principles that are radical joy, radical love, unconditional self-acceptance. That's a radical idea. Unconditional self-acceptance, accepting who you are. You're brilliant, beautiful, magnificent. So you fall down. It's okay. Everybody does it. That's
absolutely
great. It's good for us.
Help us understand, what does One Love Awakening offer? Who wants it, needs it? Who do you work with? Like, what is it? Is it coaching, or is it, online courses? Like, what is it?
Yes, first and foremost, we are a soul community. We are just good people walking each other home. And so our purpose and mission is to provide spiritual nourishment for the heart, mind, and soul. So everything that we do is nourishing. We want people to be in a safe place. Because the spiritual journey can be messy. It looks hard, but at One Love Awakening, it's arm in arm, so we're stronger together. And
I was going to say, and it's lonely
yes.
too. And what you're offering is a community.
Yeah. So we're online. We do have this beautiful dream of having an in-person annual family reunion, we'll call it, because we're souls finding each other, but really we're also souls finding ourselves and little pieces of ourselves. Like, that whenever I meet someone, I'm meeting a piece of myself. And so we offer amazing classes, workshops, all geared to help us on the path to radical forgiveness, to radical joy, radical love, to accept ourselves. So our most popular events are definitely our discussion-based groups that are book study-like. And so we're just wrapping up, actually, the 4 agreements. And Tammy and I, we love intersecting all of the good things that we've put in, we've learned for ourselves. So we might be studying the 4 agreements, but we also share the wisdom of Ernest Holmes. Like this is what Don Miguel is saying. And here, like, so that we are one, recognize that Ernest Holmes said this in a different way. It's using practically the same words. We're just sharing the same wisdom. And we always go to the Tao, the Tao Te Ching. The Tao is one. That the Tao is the only thing that's happening. And so we like to intersect. We like to weave wisdom into all those things. And so we do the Tao classes. We do the Tao of love, the Tao of peace, the Tao of joy. We do those kinds of things to really learn. Everything is geared to learn more about ourselves. And when we come together as a group, the wisdom is in the room. The love is in the room. The joy is in the room. And we just get to unpack it with each other because we're just good people. We're just good people walking each other home. And we're all on a similar path, and finding out who you are is the greatest gift we can give the world. And so it is a safe environment to really chew on things and satisfy that place of curiosity and wonder in getting to know each other.
And it's not religion specific. You don't have to believe a certain way to feel comfortable in the environment, right?
That is absolutely right. Yeah, we're spiritual, not religious. I have a background in many things, so I like to listen to the wisdom that's in everything. Some people would throw Jesus out with the bathwater, And
I've been saying that lately. That's funny.
And I think that there's, the true message of Christ consciousness is one of love. It's one of peace. It's one of connectivity and community. It's not about, there is no hell. There is no heaven. Thinking makes it so. This is, for us, it's about consciousness. We're focused on consciousness, conscious evolution. And so the greatest thing that we can do is unshackle our own mind. I'm so attached to a friend of mine. She has the saying that I've attached myself to. I'm doing this. I'm decolonizing my mind, because everything that that we're taught from a child to forever is other people's perspectives and perceptions. Ernest Holmes himself said that we as a human species are hypnotized by the stories of others. And so in my philosophy, in my way of being, I want you to think for yourself. I put at the end of every class I teach, question everything I just said. Because if you are diving into what is right for you, feeling into that, the body is this beautiful tuning fork. It is hardwired to divine substance. And there is this thing inside of you that knows that it knows. So what do you want to know about yourself? Ask yourself. Don't ask society what it thinks of you, because only you can know, possibly. Only you are in your shoes. Only you are in your life, experiencing your experiences. Sure, we can be in a group and we can share in those experiences, and they will even sound very similar to one another. But in that same way, we are unique and unrepeatable. And so these are my eyes that see. These are my ears that hear. And how do we undo and unlearn all of that stuff so that we can find the truth principles, those principles that are threaded through all faith traditions, which I now use faith traditions instead of religion, because religion is man-made. Faith traditions are this historical.
Passed down.
Yes, they're passed down. And so conscious truth, the truth of the laws of the universe, are thread into every faith tradition. and we just tell stories around them. So what is your story? What is the truth behind your thinking? Why are you saying yes? Why are you saying no? What does that feel like in your body? And listen deeply to that inner knower. The universe is brilliant. It will not hold you back or disregard your experience. It is everything that you are, and you get to be a unique and unrepeatable expression of that divinity.
Yeah, it's really neat. And earlier, before we hit record, I was telling you about the book, because the way you're talking, and that even the saying, the throwing out Jesus with the bathwater, it's the law of one, contact with raw law of one. I've talked about it on my podcast before because I just found it 2 months ago. And a lot of the stuff that you're saying, and you said you hadn't seen or heard the book. What's amazing though is that exactly what you're saying is exactly what, in 1981, Contact with Ra was talking about. And the truth is that we all have this, like you said, this knowing and this understanding. And the two things I wanted to comment on when you were talking was, by the way, I grew up Baptist. So I grew up in a, religion. And so I had to unwire a lot of the neuro connections that were, put together through repetitive attendance, Sunday night, Sunday night, and Wednesdays, and sometimes Fridays, and summer revivals. So I did throw out Jesus with the bathwater. And the truth is that after finding the book, Contact with Ra, I understand now how to appreciate and love Jesus again. And I want to share that, one of the things that they say is that hell is the choices that you make. So we all have free will, and anything, including in the Bible, that says thou shalt not, or anything that you shouldn't do this, that is all constructed out of man-made control. And that is not of God. That is not the law of one. The law of one is free will. So anytime you ask for advice or anything like that, that actually infringes upon your ability to have free will. So, and they talk about the fact that when you ask God, or the divine or whatever, if you think you're asking somebody outside of yourself, or like you were saying, your divine mind, or higher mind, you do open yourself up for the guidance and the information, but they want you, God, whatever, the creator, because God is so giving and generous, gives us free will. So they want you, the divine mind wants you to ask. If you want help, you ask for it. If you don't want the you should do this guidance, then you're not asking for it. They won't give it to you. So that's the message. You have to ask for the help. You have to know that you have free will, free choice. And until you ask for it, the guidance isn't going to necessarily be there. So I have been asking away. Ever since I heard that, I was like, okay, you need me to know that I know that I want the information. Okay, here it comes.
Yes.
You did, when you're telling your story and you were in, California, and you're like, okay, I can't hear everyone else divine mind. What am I supposed to do? I need to hear you. You asked and the answers came.
Yes.
So it's so amazing to know that, you haven't read that book, but then that book is referring to everything you're already knowing. And, it's just validation, right? For people who question, what is Lydia talking about? What's this oneness nonsense? Whatever it is, it's real. It's true. It's pure. It's fantastic. And it's freedom, right?
It's freedom.
So it's freedom. And we love freedom, don't we?
Yes. Well, and on Wake Up Say Thank You, every Friday is Freedom Friday. And I have my little jingle, Freedom Friday, living in the freedom. Yeah, we are
Well,
living
you
in
can
that
sing
stuff.
too. You
Oh
are
yeah, I
so
sing. I play guitar.
talented.
Oh yeah, God lives joyfully through me. I'm everything I need to be.
And more that
and
you haven't
more.
discovered yet.
Yes, exactly.
That's
And
awesome.
each of us have that in us. That's freedom is our birthright. Like page 25, The Science of Mind, the first section of that book. It's in the introduction. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. That includes you. You're every living soul. You are that. And so freedom is my number one value. If there's a restriction on my freedom, someone's going to know about it. It feels it. You feel a restriction. And freedom is our birthright. It's our inheritance. It is God-given and God-ordained that we have the mind to choose. And people don't like that. People don't like to hear that. Oh my God, I'm responsible for all the bad choices I've ever made. Yes. Oh my goodness. How wonderful that you've stirred in that fertilizer so that you can reach your highest and greatest good. There is nothing more sacred than you finding yourself, digging yourself out of all of that stuff. I make this joke. I didn't think that I was going to see 30. I lived from 14 into 30. I was depressed. I had chronic anxiety disorder. I would have a panic attack waiting for a bus I was 15 minutes early for. People would take me to the hospital thinking I was having a heart attack in my 20s. And I wasn't having a heart attack. I just could not bear being in the environment of who I was. And I didn't trust myself. I had no faith in myself. And so when we get to that place of having faith in ourselves, oh my goodness, we can move mountains. Yeah. So I didn't think that I was going to see 30. There was some opportunities there where that was really going to be a true story.
And choice.
So, and at 34, I was in ministerial studies. So I was starting, and I thought, Jesus, he died on the cross. He sacrificed his limiting body to a higher vision, a higher idea of truth when he was 33 years old. And here I was 34. So I'm older than Jesus made it. I've been on this planet longer than Jesus. And so every year I get
winning.
Yeah. And so doing talks that, feeling constricted in Castlegar, British Columbia, after 6 years of ministry, all of that time. So feeling constricted, feeling the resistance of growth and pushing through, because I know there's something bigger, bolder, beautiful, audacious in here that needs to come out. And so I said in a talk once, like, Jesus ain't got nothing on me. I'm in my 40s. I didn't have to get up on a cross to do this work. Here I am teaching this stuff. Here I am doing this work. Here I am shining the light and knowing that I don't need to get up onto a cross. Like Dolly Parton said in the movie Straight Talk, get down off the cross, honey. Somebody needs the wood. Right? So we don't have to make the big sacrifices that we do when we are making sacrifices. When we are feeling in that place of suffering and pain, trust that is good stuff for whatever is coming, because if it wasn't good stuff, it would not be there for us. I went through all of that stuff so that I could be here now, so that I could know what I know now, so that I could speak into being and sit with people who are in that stuff now. I can sit with those people and have absolute compassion. I can sit with those people and love them with unconditional acceptance, because I made it. I made it through all of that stuff.
I know. And you have hope for them. You can hold the idea of hope for them when they're going through their struggles, right? And you call it fertilizer. That's so cute. That book calls it a catalyst. Everything's a catalyst. Everything that happens to us, good and bad, is a catalyst. And then that causes movement. It causes, either backwards, a free will, you can choose a backwards option or you can choose a forward option. you get to choose whether you want to suffer or whether you want to have joy. And so part of that learning process is going through it and deciding, what do you want? Do I want, I can have joy or I can have suffering. Which one do I want? Well, I've done the suffering and it ain't that fun. So I'm choosing joy, and the free will of that is so awesome that you get to have the choice to choose. Right. And so when I hear other people who are in their suffering, I can hold the space that I know what's possible for them. And even when they can't, this is what Jesus does, when you don't know for yourself that you're sick or that you can heal yourself, the catalyst, Jesus was the one who said, yes, you can heal yourself, and I'm going to show you. Yes. And so Jesus came to this space and time in these last 75,000 years to show us what our potential was. And that is for us to figure out that we can be as high a consciousness eventually. We're not there yet because we're not Jesus and we're not doing what Jesus did. In some regards, you may be, but it's an evolutionary process that they talk about. That's part of that spiraling up in the back to the one. You're going back to, and I love what you said. You called it, walking home or something. I think you said, like, we're walking home together, and because you kind of go like, well, where are we going? Well, it's infinite possibilities and it's never ending. And so something you said when you were sharing about One Love Awakening is, you were saying it's awakening, like you continue to do it. It never ends. You're not woke. You don't stop, and I was thinking when you were talking, it's like, because there are infinite possibilities and it's never ending. And so that's why you have the awakening. So we're going to be wrapping up soon. So I want to just get really clear. If somebody, so you said you were a nonprofit and you said, I guess you're online. Do you have a physical building?
No. Everything. This is my home. This is my home studio right here.
So I'm going to just ask the question so everyone is really clear about how to participate with One Love Awakening, okay? Because it's easy for you to talk about it, but if we still have questions, we got to ask, okay?
Yes.
So you're an online community, is that right?
That's right.
Anyone in the world that has internet access can join?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And who is the type of person that should be checking it out? Never mind. Don't answer that question. What a can of worms. No, I'm just kidding. No, just to help people understand, like, if you're looking for XYZ, you might want to come check us out. Like, help with that.
Yeah. One Love Awakening, our mission is to provide spiritual nourishment for the heart, mind, and soul. So if you're looking for spiritual nourishment, we've got it. We've got a loving group of people that are ready to love and be loved. And we offer courses and workshops and all of that good stuff.
But those are live, right? It's not like a on-demand thing.
That's right. We utilize the power of Zoom very greatly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then if we want to come to your community, is it like a scheduled event and then you show up on Sunday? Like, how do people participate?
So most people find us by through the show that the event that I put on. I do 5 days a week. It's called Wake Up, Say Thank You, and it is 5 days a week, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central time. It's on YouTube and Facebook because I too have StreamYard. And
and that's live, right?
And it is live. Yeah. Okay. So it is a spiritual practice. I do what's called a rant. I connect with people, and I do what's called a rant, which is an acronym for Radically Affirmative New Thought. And so we have a topic. I work in and then we'd have a spiritual practice. So we treat and then we move our feet. So that's five days a week. And that's the introduction. Most people come to that to see.
And is that Monday through Friday, 5 days a week?
Monday to Friday. Yep.
Okay.
And so people can get a feel, because I'm not for everyone, and I'm okay with that.
Uh-huh.
I really am okay that if my radical joy
Offend you?
is too much for you, I'm okay with that. You're not offending me if you don't watch. It's really okay.
You want to hear
your
a funny quote that I heard one time from Deion Sanders? It says, if my confidence triggers your insecurities, I apologize in advance, or something like that. So in other words, you're right. Not everybody, and who you're there for those who are interested in what you have to offer. But I'm curious, like, is it a community where you get to see other people on the thing, or are we just watching you?
So Wake Up, Say Thank You. It's just StreamYard. It's just me. We certainly have engagement and participation, because I love that. And we have other things that draw in. So we have a Facebook group that's the One Love Awakening Soul Community. And so everybody shares and stuff in there.
Okay.
And we have on Wednesday evenings, Deep Soul Meditation, and that's in Zoom. All of our courses are online via Zoom. And we have special events and things like that are all in on Zoom, and those.
And do you like breakout rooms and stuff like that, where people can actually connect with each other?
We love our breakout rooms. And the fourth Friday of every month, we have what we call Community Connection Night. So we have a Zoom room, and we all just come in. Whoever wants to come in and chat and get to know who else is in the community. I would love way more people in that, so that we could have more breakout rooms. But in every class that we have breakout rooms. Because it's really getting to that place of having intimate relationships with one another. That's how we love the world. That's how we wake the world up with love. It's engaging with each other in a loving way, knowing that we're heard deeply, that we're not being judged, we're not being looked at by anything outside of loving presence, that we are there to be loving presence for one another. And we do amazing book studies that really help us dive into what it means to be in a community. The beloved community is a huge thing for me. Beloved Community, written by Jim Lockhart. Dr. Jim Lockhart is one of the books that guided the beginning of One Love Awakening, that how to be in community. There's amazing books that have supported us. And so there's a book called by Parker J. Palmer called Hidden Wholeness. And he does circles of trust. And the circle of trust has these touchstones. And so at the beginning of every class that we offer, we check in with these touchstones. And my favorite one is that there's no fixing, no advising, no setting each other straight. We're not here to do that. I don't know what's best for you. I can help you find the best in yourself. But I'm not here to fix you or to give you advice. Who am I to give you advice? You have an inner knower that is divinely connected to a power and presence greater than I am. How could I possibly give you advice? Exactly. So, but I can ask you questions. I can nurture your heart, because I have been able to nurture my heart, to have self-compassion and self-love, and to get from depression. I like to say from madness to mindfulness. I've done that. And so I just help other people, get stronger footing on the path. But the path is yours, and the path is already there. It's right beneath you. And it's your faith and your willingness to dive deeply into who you are that is the magnificence shining on behalf of spirit. Everything that you do, for me, everything I do is for the glory and the grace of that power, that presence that is back of absolutely everything. I'm giving God a good time. This is the one. I'm giving God a good time.
The people do not understand that at all, that we are all giving God a good time. God is expressing as Lydia, and God is expressing as Steph, and God is expressing as even Joe Biden or Donald Trump. That is really hard to swallow, right?
It's hard to swallow. Yep.
It's really hard to understand. But once you do, you recognize it's all about your evolution. And when you just stay in your lane and work on this, one day you too can become like Jesus,
Yes.
at his level, right? I mean, he's just had a lot of lives before the Jesus one.
Yes. Yeah. This is my last go round. 1,000 is a good number. I'm gonna, this is it. This is the last kid that can.
Really, you're ready. They call it harvest. You're ready to harvest, to go to the fourth dimension and not come back, because every time we come back, it's the third density, the third dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I've had 1,000. I've had 1,000. I'm good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We could talk forever, Lydia, because seriously, I told you in our pre-time, my life is biblically epic.
I want to hear more.
Biblical.
Come back.
Yeah, because there's so many more stories. There's my life. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. What would be fun with you is to do like live streams with you, because not many people can do live streams. And I think that's fantastic, ability, right? And it's like, I think it's underrated because people don't understand how hard it really is.
Yeah, I love it. See, I've been on stage since I was 4, so I am not uncomfortable with a microphone. I'm not uncomfortable with a spotlight. And there are people who would choose death over getting up on top on a stage, and I'm not one of them.
I wanted to tell you that just in your dialogue as I'm listening, and by the way, like, I'm a good listener. Like, I really am listening, to what people are saying. It's fun. Like, I enjoy it. And you have so many great book titles in everything you've said. Like, being back in marketing, like, do you hear yourself and go, God,
that's a book. I'm changing that into an article. There's
a talk.
4-video evergreen series. Yeah, this is a webinar. Yeah, everything is content. Everything is content. Everything is content.
I know, and it's hard because you don't know really what you should, like, which rabbit you should go after, because the rabbit's constantly multiplying in my head, and I'm managing like 5 brands right now of my own. I've got Global Travel Junkie, Avanti Wellness, Oneness Junkie. I mean, but I love it all. Like, it's all me. This is God expressing in 5 brands.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah. I'm One Love Awakening. I'm the Rev Approach. I'm the Art of Sentient Being. I've got all these, I've got like 4 half books sitting, waiting to, like, Steph, come back.
Put those on what are they called? The mini publishing on Audible, on Amazon. Because they're half books now. Just put them up there as, part 1.
Part 1, yes. Want more?
It's a series, but it's going to come later.
Yeah. I have a fictional book. I have the title. I have the first line and the last line. And it's about oneness. It's about those 1,000 lives. It's about that stuff. But
do it, and we'll have you back talking about it.
Yes, yeah,
and you were saying your community's supportive of everyone going through their journey, so helping to have a safe place. I'm going to wrap it up, but I want to say, when you were talking, that I can just see how your community, your online community is just, I'm so glad you're on a global platform, and I'm glad we can talk about it on my global platform about oneness, so that anyone who hears this podcast, maybe they're meeting them through me, through the Oneness Junkie podcast, can now go and be a part of your community and, be a be supported, because I can just think about people in small towns that may have like a higher mind consciousness and the people around them don't have the higher mind consciousness. And how do you find support around that? And you are offering, like, by the way, congratulations on all that time that you were dedicating 5 days a week, plus the webinars, plus the this, plus like that is a lot. You are dedicating your life to the evolution of humanity. And that's exactly why you're on the Oneness Junkie podcast, because I am highlighting people. I didn't say this in the beginning when I normally do, but I am highlighting people who are using their time and talents to make the world a better place. And the reason, guys, listen in on your earbuds or however you're listening, however you feel inspired by the divine to do something. Steph and I were talking earlier, like we just say yes to that, because that just might be the thing that is for you to do. And who cares that nobody ever put the word oneness and junkie together? That is for you to do, like that's kind of how I do things. It's like, if I feel guided, I do it. And then it reveals and unfolds on its own. I don't see the end game. I don't see the vision. I don't see how I'm going to get paid for something, before I started. I'm just doing it. And I believe in that the universe has my back, that God is good, and this is mine to do. So it sounds like One Love Awakening is a place that can support on a daily basis, at least 5 days out of the week, for those who are feeling inspired to follow their calling and follow their guidance and their heart. And Steph is a great way to be constantly mentored. And by the way, I love your voice. It sounds so good. So I know you're doing wonderful work on the internet. And is yours a podcast? Is yours actually, are you podcasting or just
I'm not podcasting. I have been told I should be doing that, but my spirit and rebellion says should.
You are using StreamYard, so you already have the content. You already have it. It's just putting it out on a different platform is how you can do that. But did I interrupt you? Did you say something about voice?
Oh, you should hear my meditation voice.
Oh, I bet I will go find it. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to join your community. So anyway, do you have any final things you want to remind everybody where to go find you? Like just sales pitch it out. Like where do they go to find your community?
Well, the easiest way is oneloveawakening.com. It is the number one. We're number one. So oneloveawakening.com will get you to all the information. And we are at One Love Awakening on all social media.
Okay.
So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you do One Love Awakening, we are what pops up. And yeah, I love new people. I love meeting new people. We do have community members all over the world. And I love what you just said, that One Love is really it's really for people who don't have that in-person place to go. They are in smaller communities or in bigger communities that it would take an hour to get to anyway.
Yeah. They can't find the like-minded people that's easily accessible.
And you can come in your pajamas. What's better than that? Everything we do, you are welcome to show up as you. We'll love you for you. And there's a light inside of you, whether you know it yet or not. And so we're just there with all of our little dust cloths, wiping off the glass between the light and of the lamp and you sparking that beautiful expression of who you are in this world. So radical self-acceptance, radical joy, radical love, radical gratitude.
Radical living.
Yeah. It's funny. I usually have a branded shirt on as well, it says radically joyful.
Oh, cool.
So everyone is welcome, but you'll know if you fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something in you that says, these are my people. This is my home. And
Now
every
you know
time I'm
what?
in a room with One Love community members, I feel so loved. I feel so loved. And I trust with absolute faith that everyone else does too, because they're saying it, they're showing it, and they're showing up. So I love the One Love Awakening Soul community. We're still very new, right? We started in 2021 and we're just a few years old. We just had our 3rd annual general meeting. So we're still pioneering this new idea. And so come and get in the ground floor and help us build this beautiful foundation that awakens love across the surface of this planet. You are welcome here.
I've had some people message me from like Poland and some other countries. And it's like, hey guys, if y'all are still listening to the podcast, go over there and join that community because you can be a part of that. So you need a new shirt that says Radical Awakening.
Ooh, yes. I will get that done.
To go with your awakening process. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you. I'm being the change that I want to see in the world. And I want to highlight more communities like mine. There's enough to go around. We don't have to be concerned like, oh, I don't want to highlight One Love Awakening because it might take something away from me. No,
there's no competition.
There's no competition. It's all about like us arm in arming together. I wish more content creators would understand that, and more people, even people that have smaller or bigger communities, would come together. We're all talking about the same thing. Let's support each other and expand more of that. Let's not come from a place of, oh no, they just want my followers or whatever. Like, it's about the message. It's not about the where you're at in the process. It's about us supporting each other. And by the way, this, recording or podcast or whatever is going to stay up as long as God and the universe can support it staying up there in the ethers for years and years and years to come. I mean, I was telling my sister yesterday that if no one knows my password to the Oneness Junkie YouTube channel, this will stay up forever as long as YouTube leaves it up there. Because when I die, no one's in my family knows how to go in and shut everything down. I'm the only techie one in my family. Yes. So anyway, so this will be up there forever for all the future. So here we are in May 12th. If this is a time machine, May 12th, 2023. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Steph.
Thank you. Such a joy to meet you and to be with you.
You're such a joy. And what's your cat's name before
This is Casey, the world traveler.
Hi. What a cute face.
You're like, why are you holding me up? You're always holding me up to the camera. I don't need to see that.
To the light. Holding you up to the light. All right. Thank you so much, Steph. Namaste and in love and oneness. I wish you all the best, and I hope we stay in touch, and I hope we do a live stream together. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got one. I have a live stream 5 days a week. Come on over.
Sounds good. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. We've reached the end of this episode. If you'd like to continue with this inspirational journey, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. If you are a self-proclaimed oneness junkie, get yourself a t-shirt and spread the message of oneness in your community. And finally, if you have a story to share or know someone that should be a guest on this podcast, contact us at onenessjunkie.com. See you next time. And remember, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Compassion starts with you and me.